Well, I'm only 6 weeks late doing this video, so let's get on with it. Hey everybody, Anthony Dodge, Mile Train Outsider with a video that is 6 weeks too late, but there's many reasons for it. I wanted to give a reaction to G.E.T.S, and I've actually filmed this video about 5 times, and each one's been well over an hour, and I really want to make it short. So, I guess instead of going through it all, I'm going to just do a whirlwind. I've talked about it ad nauseum, and I really want to talk about why, where everybody else has moved on from G.E.T.S, I haven't. But, as you know, Joyce and I, and I got to give a lot of love and appreciation to Joyce, because people don't understand, especially for her, what it was like that she worked full days, Monday through Thursday. We get ready, head to the airport Thursday afternoon, evening, get on a plane, and don't sleep on the plane. Arrive at Heathrow, got to catch a train and another train, and we're in Milton-Keynes, and bless the people at DoubleTree. The staff there was extremely friendly, but also they did us a favor, and they let us check into our room 4 hours early, where Joyce and I did get a couple hours sleep. But then we had all the insanity of G.E.T.S. Monday flight back home, arrived back home Monday afternoon, and Joyce got up and went to work on Tuesday, and she had major projects and paperwork she had to turn in Tuesday at 4 p.m. and she worked on it Monday night and went into work on Tuesday and did her teaching, and then still managed to find a way to get all her paperwork done. So it was insane. You know, jet lag had to be thrown out the window, and being tired couldn't matter. And she's actually been on the run ever since, because she's in a period of she's at a year in her career where everything's due: state evaluation, local evaluation, recertification, and all these other things. Plus the state turned around and mandated all these teachers take this course, just to flip us off. Well, I say us, because even though I'm retired, it's us. You know, this massive 13-part class that they all have to take on top of all their usual state required paperwork and crap. So Joyce was a real trooper to come along. And of course, we were supposed to be there last year, 2023, and so this long year wait to finally happen. I wanted to say everything, and I can't, because it goes an hour and 30 minutes. And you want to mention people, but then you're scared to forget people, so you mention everybody and then hope. And of course, now 6 weeks later, it's been a blur. But of course, when we got back, I was sick for 2 weeks, and then as I was getting healthier, I started focusing on all of the stuff with Herb's collection I just bought, and fixing things up, cleaning things up, and getting them on. And Joyce had said that, oh my God, I was going to do a video for my channel for G.E.T.S. I was like, oh yeah, I never did mine. And I still couldn't bring myself to it, because I talked about I had to process it, but I had not completed processing it. And I've been trying to explain why G.E.T.S hit me the way it did, in a way different beyond the, oh, it was awesome to meet everybody. It's hit me in a way, and it took this week to figure it out, and I'll get to that at the end of this video. So yeah, the whirlwind. It was the eye of a hurricane, and you can't talk about it, your experiences, without it sounding egotistical. And it's not meant to be egotistical. It was just how things happened. You know, we came to meet people. That was the number one goal. We didn't come to be seen. We came to meet people. You people have been so special to us, especially to me, because I do not socialize. I don't. I have maybe 4 or 5 people from YouTube I talk to off of YouTube. And that's my socialization. I get calls from Alan at Dragon Junction. I usually have weekly calls and sometimes messaging, Facebook messaging with Artie, but it's not guaranteed to be weekly. I do every Wednesday have a good 2 to 4 hour video chat with Christopher from Sakura Densha, a really good friend. And then Jean Ricard usually calls me video chats with me anywhere from 2 to 5 times a week, just as his schedule and my schedule allow, but we do communicate a lot. And then I do have occasional emails and texts like Dino and Hot Dog Pilot Andy. We do talk a lot. Mark, Model Railway Fantasia, we'll exchange emails now and then. But I don't have physical humans that I go out with. Joyce is it. So anyhow, let's go back to G.E.T.S. And I've got to include Warley in this. So it was crazy. We arrive, we check in, we get a little bit of a nap, so we're a little refreshed, and then we went and explored Milton-Keynes. And then we had the first person we had met was Graham from Lemington Station, and again, I could spend 20 minutes just talking about Graham because he really, I don't think he understands how special he was to us. Volunteering to drive us to Warley on Saturday morning, and then he just seemed to be around almost like to make sure we were okay. And we really appreciated that. There were just times where we'd turn the corner and there he was. So I don't know, maybe he was stalking. No. But he really was special to us. And he was the first one we met. And we met Clive. And Joyce and I went around and explored a bit of Milton-Keynes, just walking around. And we were, it's a newer burb. It's, it's not an old city with a big history. But we walked around the area we were in for an hour or 2 hours and just said it. But then everything kicked in. We came back, ran into Graham, went to dinner with Graham, and then we went down to the bar. And I had actually already talked to the bar people and asked if I could do my live stream. So boom, we did it, live stream. And if you watch the live stream, it was crazy. And then people are giving me gifts on the live stream. Mick gave me this Dodge car, which I accidentally credited to somebody else, and I still feel guilty about that. Mark, via Alan at Dragon Junction, Mark Model Railway Fantasia sent stuff, which just threw me off anything I planned. And in the middle of this, Charlie Bishop, big channel Charlie Bishop, 80,000, whatever he's at, subscribers. And we're in a bar, and a lot of people are happy, if you know what I mean. Feeling gay, and old style world, they're feeling good. And I meet Charlie Bishop live on my live stream. So, wow, So I was out of sorts on that live stream. And we had sound canceling microphones because Graham is a big photography aficionado. And so he had these high-tech microphones and cameras and all sorts of gadgets. It was so cool. I was kind of jealous of all the cool stuff he had. So you cannot hear the silliness, the laughing, the giggling, the bantering, the talking to me, and then all these gifts being brought to me. And, of course, we came into there and there's all these people. These are people, some we knew, but we're not expecting to see. Some we didn't know, and it was great to meet, and then people that we were hoping to meet. And, of course, there were people we had already met when we were in the UK in 2022, like when we first came to the bar. Obviously, we saw Alan from Buckland Junction, who oh, my God, it's Alan from Buckland Junction. And then, of course, there's Alan Wiles from Dragon Junction. And, it's like, wow. And then, oh, crap, over here's Tony Pinnell's, another big UK channel and amazing person. And then all the Knights of the Rhomboid Table that were, Clive and Mick and his lady Sue, and Peter from Delft Junction and his good lady, and just more and more people. Steve from Route 7, and Paul in Paris. There's all these people, okay? And see, I start naming and I have to try to remember everybody because I don't want anybody to say he didn't remember us. And you also know there's all these groups like Pete Waterman and his workers, and some of the Akira Scale people like Richard Watson are over there, and then there's a group over there. But it was just so insane, and all these gifts. I was like, oh my God. And then Joyce and I went to bed because we were tired at about 11:15, 11:30, and we had made arrangements with Graham that he was going to drive us to Warley in the morning. We were going to start the day at Warley. So we had a wonderful 90-minute drive and we enjoyed that. We didn't realize how great that little calm was going to be because we had some insanity Friday night, and then we had this hour and a half drive in the morning, and we got to Warley really early, and we met Andrew McDonald, March West Junction, again, because we met him in 2022, and he just turned and saw us coming in, and the smile on his face and the grin on our faces, like good longtime friends meet. It was great. And then all of a sudden, Mark McDade, Donegal Dad, shows up. And that's one of the people we're really excited. This is why we're coming to Warley. Yes, to see Andrew McDonald. Yes, my friend Christopher is going to meet us there because it was easier for him to get to Warley. But also, any chance to finally meet Mark from Donegal Dad, we were going to be there. We missed the chance because he was at G.E.T.S in 2023, and we missed that chance. And we do have a friendship with Mark off of YouTube, but we've never met him live. So all that's going on. And so all this excitement, it's Mark, my friend Christopher. Finally, I'm meeting my buddy Christopher. And we video chat every Wednesday for 2 to 4 hours. And, all these people. And it's so great. And you're spending time with this. And then the real crazy stuff, because all of a sudden Steve Flynn from Model Railway is like, and he also was one of the judges with Kathy Millett on the UK train show, Great Model Railway channel. And oh, you guys are here all the way from America. Hang on, I got to get a photographer. And they do an interview with us, and they take our picture, and they say it might be in the magazine. And I don't think that'll happen. It'd be cool if it did, but I don't think. But all of a sudden, some people are treating us almost like celebrities. And Joyce and I are like, we're just two schmucks from Toledo. We don't. We're happy to meet our friends, and we're glad they're happy to meet us, and it's wonderful. We're feeling good, but all this crazy stuff. I buy a locomotive that I'm, talking myself out of, and Joyce is joking with Andrew, Mark, and Christopher going, he's going to buy it. Watch him. Because I keep turning around and say, nah, I can't. I really can't. I don't. There's other things that are more important to me. And I turn around, Joyce is like, he's going to buy it. He's going to buy it. And I did. She knew me better than I knew me. In the middle of this, we meet Peter Jackson. Of course, there's a joke with that because I have watched, like when I was at York in 2022, people walking up, you're Leslie Gilpin, you're Dragon Junction, you're March West Junction. I had seen ordinary people, non-YouTube celebrities or people that maybe they're on YouTube, but small little channels and they're not out advertising themselves, but just ordinary people walking up and treating these people like celebrities. You're TV stars. And I understand that because when I met these people, these are people I watch on my TV. They're TV stars to me. They're celebrities to me. I'm just a schmuck. They're celebrities. And so I've always joked I want to meet somebody. I want somebody to come up and go, you're Anthony Dodge, I've seen your channel. Where it's somebody I don't know them. They're an ordinary person that happens to have watched my channel and became a fan. Sort of that my ego wants that I'm a celebrity. And Andrew says, Anthony, check this out. I think your dream's about to come true. And I look over and there's this very kind-faced, pleasant-looking person, kind of short, but just got a tight-lipped grin on his face. And apparently he had already introduced himself to Joyce. But Joyce didn't say anything to me. And he walks up to me and goes, Anthony Dodge, the model train outsider. And in my brain, I'm like, and apparently it showed on my face because Andrew has mentioned, the look on your face when that happened, when your dream finally came true. And it's like, I have to explain to Andrew, technically my dream did not come true yet, because he says Peter Jackson, Cheadle Heath. It's like, oh, I'm subscribed to his channel. He's subscribed to mine. He's been in my live streams a few times. You know, he comes in, maybe watches more. And he's a lovely chap. I'd never seen him, so I didn't recognize him because I'd never seen him in his videos. But I've been subscribed to his channel for a while. And he does great videos. But yeah, this is great. So we're all meeting, and then all of a sudden there's this. Okay, now so Mark and Andrew have to kind of go back to work on things, and we're walking off. We've had this bit with photographer with Steve Flynn, and we're walking around. We start to walk around G.E.T.S with our friend Christopher, because Graham is actually going around filming, because that's why he went to Warley. He wanted to film some of it, so he was just happy to have the company and take us along while he did some filming. So he wasn't hanging with us all the time. He would come back and check on us and hang out with us for a bit, and then go do more filming. But as we're walking around, all of a sudden there's this other guy that comes up, and he's wearing this suit, maroon suit coat and that, gray hair and beard, and I forget his name now, but he's either somebody big with Warley or big with Statfold there, and he's like, I just heard, and he's, I got a photographer here, and and all of a sudden we're being interviewed again, and this is really great, and I know they did put us on a Warley thing where they had a couple from America, and we're thinking like, there's got to be other people here from America and from other places. I mean, we found out later somebody was from New Zealand was there, and I'm like, oh, there had to be people from somewhere in Asia, India. There are people from around the world go to things like this, right? But I guess to them it was a big deal that to their brains we had flown Friday just to come to this show. And we had to tell them, well, we didn't come just to the show. We came to go to G.E.T.S actually, but you just happened to be here as well. And we actually just came to meet people. We didn't come for the shows. But anyhow, so all that crazy, all this celebrity. And Christopher, I think, can attest to this. And then we met Brian Finn and this. And as we're walking around, and Brian Finn's one of my longest friends from YouTube. I was talking to him before I had my own channel. I just had subscribed to his, and I think he's such a brilliant guy, and it was such an honor to meet him. And by the way, I never got a picture with him. If anybody did, Graham, if you got a picture of us together, or if anybody else that was there managed to take a picture with Brian and me in the same picture, could you please send it to me? Because he's the only person we met that I didn't get a picture with. Because we were going to do it, and then something came up, and then we said, he had to go somewhere, and he said, okay, well, we'll meet back up and do it. And then when we met back up, I forgot that we hadn't gotten a picture, because I remember taking pictures with people, and we left, and then I went, oh shit, I didn't get a picture with him. So we had that insanity. Just crazy, crazy. But as we're, enjoying meeting people, and then, again, it's just Joyce, Christopher, myself, we're walking around checking things out, but all of a sudden, either Steve Flynn or this other guy are coming up while we're talking to people, going, oh, these are our special guests, they came all the way from America. They would literally come up and, I don't want to say interrupt, but interject while we were talking with either people with their layout or people selling stuff, as, oh, you got to treat these people really great. They came all the way from America. These are our special guests, and it was really weird. It's like, it's we're nobody, okay? It's not that big, but it was so weird. And then we finally had to leave, and we went to lunch with Christopher, and I had a lot of good time with Christopher. And he said he decided he was going to come to G.E.T.S on Sunday. So then we drive back, and we're late to the get-together at G.E.T.S. And G.E.T.S, this is where, what do we expect? Because in ego and paranoia, you either expect you're going to go up there and everybody's going to go, Anthony, and we're going to be mobbed like the Beatles from a bunch of teenage girls, or people are going to be like, hi, who cares about you? You're just some American couple, So there's two extremes, and both of them, one is your ego way out of whack, and the other one is your paranoia out of whack. But when we came in, they were clearly just finishing shooting the group pic, and I think it was Alan Wiles, because he's tall, and he was kind of at the end because his grandson filmed, so he would have been on that edge because everybody was behind this big Model Tree Company display set up that created sort of a false wall, and everybody was meeting behind that. And they had just finished coming out, and I think it was Alan who said, "Hey, it's Anthony and Joyce," and there was a mix of several people going, they're here, and we definitely heard several people very excitedly, "Oh, they're here," you feel, "Oh, that's great," and other people like, "Who?" So what? And then Timber Surf, who organizes this, he's like, "Okay, everybody, we gotta get a picture," and Alan's helping him. "Okay, everybody back, we gotta get this group picture again." And everybody's like, "We just took it, why do we have to do this for these schmucks that came late?" But they did regroup and took the picture. And then, now it's 3 o'clock and everybody's up there chat, talking. You're meeting everybody, and there are people you're trying to talk to. And there were a couple of times where somebody else kind of grabbed us by the arm and said, "Oh, you got to meet this person, or this person wants to meet you." And it's like, "Yeah, but I'm talking to this person," and we're seeing especially some very dear people we really have to see. Again, no matter who you name, but there's a couple of people that have really become very special to us offline. Andy Hot Dog Pilot for one, Model Roisha Dino, because we do talk to them offline a lot. And it was so great to meet Clive and Mick, the Royal Barkeep, and all this, and Alan Buckland Junction, we've become very fond of. And so many other people, Mav and Colin from Woodthorpe. I can't name people without having to name everybody. And, Joyce and Sue and Paris had hit it off at the bar on Friday night, it seemed. They just really seemed to enjoy each other's company, quite lively conversations on their own, it was beautiful. Several people made Joyce feel very at ease because there's a little bit of Joyce, this is your thing, and her hiding behind me. But, like, no, Joyce, you're part of the team. We are Anthony and Joyce, like we always are. So anyhow, by the time we get done talking to everybody, it's like, oh, it's 4:45, 4:50, and this place is closing in 10 minutes. Okay. I did want to shop and look for some things. And earlier in the day, we had run into Tony Pinnell's, and he had invited us to dinner, and we accepted. So we went out with Tony Pinnell's and Gary from Cheeky Tech and some other people. But then, regardless, we met everybody in the bar again and had another wild night and got kicked out of the bar. And it was so awesome. And by kicked out, they wanted to close up, and it was time for us to get out. But we had a great time bantering with the bar people as well. Everybody we ran into, staff at the Doubletree and the Red Dot bar, were just awesome people. They were really very friendly with us. And we just had another night of bantering and joking and doing all that. And then Joyce and I were very tired, and we went to bed. We didn't even get into bed till like 1:30, 2 o'clock. And we said, we're not setting alarms. We're going to get up when we get up, and hopefully we'll be to this, we'll get to the G.E.T.S show again at noon. And I just get out of the shower after getting up, and it's like 10:30, and I've got a text from Graham, like, "Where are you? Where are you? People are waiting for you." I was like, "What? Oh, we slept in. We figured we'd get to the show about noon. That's our goal. We're going to try to get there about noon." We got dressed. We went across to McDonald's and got a quick donut and juice and something, and then we went back into the show. And it was about noon when we got there. And we come in the one doorway, the VIP entrance, I guess, and we're walking down the long hallway before you get into the main room. And as soon as we turn the corner of the main room, there's Graham waiting for us again. Like he's our guy. Like, "Hey, come on, people are waiting for you." And he says, "And there's somebody here, and I hope they're still here because they said they had to leave and they couldn't stay here for the get together, but they really wanted to meet you." And I'm like, "Who?" He says, "Well, you'll see. Come on." We go and we come around the corner. He says, "I'll try to find him if he's not there." And as we come around the corner, I see Ollie from Marble Road Restorations. And Graham goes, there he is. What? Ollie wants to meet you. He wants to meet me? Wow. Okay. And the reaction of Ollie just blew me away because I was so excited to see him. But man, he acted like he was meeting the celebrity. And to me, I'm the smaller channel. He's this big channel. And he'd be a lot bigger if he were still consistently on YouTube. But life and job and changes, because I was one of his first subscribers, and I did post on the very first video he ever posted after watching Talk. I said, awesome, you did this well, this, you know what, you're going to be big. And he did get big. I mean, he went to 8,000 subscribers very fast. And he would have continued to grow and easily would have doubled that if he continued to work as a YouTuber, model train guy. But life happens. New house, marriage, new jobs, and so forth. And his new interest now is he's rebuilding and remodeling, real trains, not models, the real things. And he also was getting certified to drive real locomotives. So awesome to him. But that's why, to me, he's this big star, and I'm just some schmuck going, can I have your autograph? But he's greeting me like he's the kid meeting the celebrity. And so it was really awesome, that reaction. He really made Joyce and me feel very nice, as so many people did, of course. But it was just so odd, and even in that case, because I remember meeting Alan, and Alan is used to people, oh my God, it's Alan at Dragon Junction. And so when we met him and did the same thing, he was very cool about it, and just, oh, it's nice to meet you, and how great. And I'm just driving in this car next to him. Oh my God, I'm sitting next to Alan. That was in 2022. Same thing when I met Leslie and Richard, Trains in the Attic, and so forth. So we met all these people, and we met Richard again, and it was great. I finally got to spend real time with Richard for a bit from Trains in the Attic. It was so lovely, and he had some gifts for us as well. Peter gave us some great cookies. Richard gave us some great biscuits. I should say biscuits for all the UK people. But so two surreal things I have to really talk about. I talked about the celebrity bit, but then there was the other sort of pseudo-celebrity thing. So the Sunday get-togethers there, and there's other people, and I'm meeting people. I met Craig from Iron Horse, and immediately subscribed to his channel after talking to him. Great guy. I got introduced to Dawn Quest, and wow, I had just heard of Dawn Quest, and yet she's a really big channel. And I had just heard of her a few weeks ago because she came up on my feed as a visit to Miniature Wonderland, and because I'm a huge Miniature Wonderland person, all this stuff comes up. So I'm meeting all these bigger channels just out of luck. Somebody saying, oh, Anthony, you should meet this person, Joyce, Plus we're meeting all our friends and new friends again. But there was this part where we met Peter from Torden Road, Peter Dixon. Oh my God, he's here. And he's just such a nice guy, so affable and friendly, easygoing. And one of the first things he asked, and he was standing behind me, like waiting for me to turn around and notice him, not out of ego, but like patiently. He can't, he wants to meet me, and he's going to wait until I'm done talking to whoever. And, we had met Paul, Joyce had just met Paul Bottrell, but didn't know it was him. Sorry, Paul. And Paul, we love you, and Joyce and I are just hoping things will go well. We can't. It's tough what you're fighting. You know that. We're just sympathetic. And I was kind of rude to Paul because I didn't know who he was, and Peter Dixon's here and wants to talk to Joyce. Joyce, you need to come here real quick because somebody's about to leave and a couple other people want to talk to you real quick. Well, I'm talking to... Excuse me, sir. I did that to Paul. And then I came back later and he says, Paul Bottrell. Joyce was not as familiar with his name. I recognized it. As soon as he said the name, I went, oh, I was so rude to one of my biggest supporters on my channel that has always been so polite, wonderful comments on my videos, and occasionally comes into live streams, doesn't talk a lot, but does say hello and that. Very nice guy, brilliant photographer. And we finally friended on Facebook. So we meet him. But one of the big things, Peter turns around and looks at me and says, when are we going to get more Matt Clark? And I was like, you? And Peter has come into my live streams. He's coming in, and I'm always honored when any of these quote big channels or much well-known channels over me, come in, because I'm like, who wants to hang around, uh, why does anybody want to hang around with this schmuck? But so many of you do, and we love you for it. Um, but again, it's like he's a celebrity, I'm not, and he's turned around and asking me about some little stupid stuff I do, and then he asked Joyce. He said, "You got to do the voice," and Joyce assumes it's Daisy, so she does the oh, you like Daisy, and she's like, well, so he says, no, the other one. He likes Lil. So good for him. He likes Lil. Um, but he wanted to hear the Lil voice. I thought that was just absolutely jaw dropping, amazing. He asked Joyce to do that voice. And so again, it's meet and shake hands, and it's all great. But then a lot of people leave, and we had some great time with Carl Braun. It was wonderful to talk to you again. Carl Braun, Bangor Junction, is just one of the nicest, uh, most pleasant, easygoing, giving, caring people that we have met, and we have met so many of you that are like that. But we still have very fond memories of the time he spent with us, and when everybody else had to leave, he stayed with us for a little bit at York, and when we were going through this one part of the museum with all the knickknacks and that, explaining a lot of it for us and telling us what he knew about it. And Joyce had lots of questions, and I was too scared to ask, but Joyce will ask, and he would explain. And we had and then here he was again, and we had definitely a fair amount of time where we just got to talk to him, and then he hung out with some of us. But a lot of people had left, and then eventually Carl had to leave too. And it was down to Dino, hot dog pilot Andy, and his son Richard, my friend Christopher Sakurdensha, and Joyce, and myself. And things were quiet. And for the first time, we actually got to walk around the show and see the layouts and talk. And I was still shopping. I was still looking for some things. But that time was so cool because I was with some people that are very dear to us. You're all dear to us. We didn't get to spend enough time with Alan from Dragon Junction because he is dear to us. We bonded very well when we were in Wales in 2022, and he calls and checks in on me, and we talk occasionally. So you're all very dear to us, so please don't feel like, oh, you like them more than me, sort of thing. But it was down to the six of us, and we had a nice time shopping, and I found something that I was going to buy, and Dino grabbed it out of my hand and bought it for me, and I was like, Dino, you should have let me bought that. But he wanted to, he wanted to do that. And I'd even talk about how hot dog pilot Andy, I said he was going to fix my mallard, so I brought it with me, and on Saturday I handed it to him show, and the way he fixed my mallard was he bought me a new one and handed it to me right there. I was like, here's my mallard. He says, good, here's your new one. Oh my God. And Christopher had brought us gifts. We actually intended to bring gifts for a lot of you. Unfortunately, they never arrived. In fact, I'm still waiting on the packages. We ordered stuff that we wanted to share with you, and it still hasn't arrived 2 months after we ordered it. 2.5 months after we ordered it. We ordered it 3-4 weeks before G.E.T.S, figuring that would be plenty of time. Nope, still hasn't arrived. I got part of it, the stuff for me, but the stuff we ordered for Joyce and the stuff we wanted to take with us to G.E.T.S never came. It's still in production. Oh, and then I got my sample. But we had some stuff we were going to pass out to you, and instead we had nothing. And people are giving us stuff and buying us stuff. And it's like, we're uncomfortable doing that because we feel like, some of you, but whatever, people gave us gifts, and it just blew us away. We're speechless. We're so thankful and speechless. And so Dino saw this little thing for 25 pounds, and he had to buy it for us. We were not going to buy it. He was going to buy it. It's like, you can't be mean. You can't be too much of like, I don't want to be indebted. You can't think of it that way. You have to accept somebody's generosity. No matter how much in your brain you might feel like, yeah, but now I'm indebted to you and I didn't do the same niceness for you. That's not what it's about. It's about somebody doing something nice for you and appreciate it. And then if you get a chance, you can do something nice for them in return. But we had a brilliant time just walking around. The show was getting emptier, and we literally were the last people in there, and they finally came and asked us to leave very politely, and we had a nice joking chat and banter with the guy that was escorting us out. People want to pack up and go home. And so we were escorted out. So we got kicked out of a bar and we got kicked out of the show. I think that's a double winner. But then we had to say goodbye to this group. And it was very hard to say goodbye. And so I do what I often do. First of all, I got very melancholy and said, we shall never all be together like this ever again. And that's why it's so hard to end it. So I put a nice, damn, gloomy, depressive thought on it all. But then I'll do a couple of stupid things so that, say, okay, with that stupidity, I need to go now that I've embarrassed myself or embarrassed somebody else, And we did kind of all filter, and Joyce and I went back, and I did that live stream, but I was so out of it because I had walked into our hotel room and there's an anonymous bag with another gorgeous gift. Somebody bought us the Hornby dynamometer car, and a little teddy bear and some other little things in there. And it was just, oh my God, and it's anonymous. And we assumed it was from one person because we thought there were a couple of hints in there. And we've been so clouded that to this day, we've had people saying, you should know who it was from. And honestly, we are that thick. We want to think who did it. And people are saying the clues are there, who it is, but unfortunately those clues led us to the wrong conclusion, and now we can't. We're lost. So whoever did it, if you could, let us know it was you, one way or the other. Not so that we can pay you back, but we want to let people know how wonderful you really were to have done that for us. Like Andy buying us the new Mallard, and Dino buying us this, other people giving us that, Christopher buying us things and bringing us gifts, the stuff from Mark Model Railway Fantasia, all brilliant stuff. But it's all, I did that live stream, and looking at it, I was babbling so much and just so blown away, incoherent. So I've always wanted to do sort of a recap, and I got home, I was sick for 2 weeks, everything happened and it delayed it. And then when I finally was ready to say, okay, now it's time to process it, I realized I had processed it, but it was hard to put into words. It was hard to explain what I'm feeling. And then something happened in the last 10 days that made me able to finally do this video. And Joyce is also doing a video. There'll be her take on it. There were a couple of other shows. There have been several shows. In fact, the National Train Fest was this past weekend in the UK. And there's the Al Sager show. And there was a big get-together at a cruise show. Or was that the same show? I don't know. But I know Timber Surf was putting together more YouTube meet and greets. And at these different shows, many of you that we love and either already knew or have gotten to know since G.E.T.S, you went to the show. And you're posting videos and your pictures of all of you getting together. And Joyce and I are watching. Oh, that's so-and-so and so-and-so. We were all together at G.E.T.S. Oh, that's so. That was so-and-so who wanted to come to G.E.T.S and couldn't come. We were going to meet them, but they had to work and couldn't come. And where we have seen those videos in the past and just said, oh, look at that. Isn't that cool that these guys can get together? I was filled with absolute jealousy. You guys are all getting to meet each other again, and I'm not. I can't be there. And I was just absolutely depressively jealous. I went into a depression about it. It really made... And then why was it bothering me when I've seen this all before? Because I'm not there. Because I was missing all your company. And that's when a little thought process hit me of what was really going on. As I've talked about way too many times, and you're all sick of it, I had a group of friends for 30 years, especially the core group. we hung out. We went to events together. We went to dinner together. We spent entire days together, sometimes weekends together, going to comic book conventions and toy shows or history bits, different hobby related things, Renaissance fairs. We did these together. We hung out and we chatted everything and we bantered and messed with each other and teased each other and then had great deep discussions and then immediately fell into quoting silly movies. And we talked about everything, and I mean everything. There were no secrets about anything in our lives. Everything was shared. We knew what each was going on in each other's families, the ups, the downs, what was going on interpersonally. There were no secrets. Everything. We were such a tight group, and for 30 years we shared that, to the point that I only tend to have very small groups of friends, and then they all died, all within a year and a half of each other. And I have no real life friends that I actually go and see and hang out with. It's Joyce. I don't even go out in public. I mean, I talk to the neighbors. I have colleagues that I was friendly with, but I didn't go out with them and share that friendship and develop that deep bond. I had my friends, and now they're gone. And while meeting individuals is very important to me so I can spend time and get to know you, what had happened is G.E.T.S, both hanging out in the bar and then walking around with that group on that Sunday, that sort of Zen time on Sunday before we said goodbye, I experienced something I haven't experienced in 5 years, and that was the group fun, the group dynamic, the everybody being equal. I mean, I know we banter and have fun on live streams, but it's not the same as sitting in person and just letting it all fly and being able to talk and mess with people, being able to go beyond the limits of what you self-impose and what YouTube imposes in live streams. I can do that one-on-one with some of the people I chat, Artie and Jean and Christopher and Alan, but that's one-on-one, and the group dynamic has its own special need. And the last time my group was together and did anything of that wild was fall of 2019. So it was 5 years ago. It was the last time we were truly together, and then COVID hit, Dean died, John's cancer, he had actually had it and went into remission. It came back, and this time it was too far gone. He was going to die. So even if Deb, John, Joyce, and I got together, it wasn't the, hey, we're out having fun. It was, we're going to sit quietly and talk and remember the good old days sort of thing. But we're not creating new good old days because it's impossible to do so. We're in hospice. And I don't want to demean that, but I hope people understand. And if not, then you can think of me as a cruel bastard. But we, when that dynamic ended, I slowly locked the vault in my soul with that and had forgotten what it was like to be in the group. And I always had a small group, and I had made myself even more of an outsider in some ways, but I always had that group. And G.E.T.S hit me both with the 2 nights at the bar, going to the convention, the exhibitions, Warley and the G.E.T show, the meet and greets and that. And then walking around G.E.T with Christopher, Andy, Richard, and Dino. I didn't understand why it was hitting me so hard then, but it was watching these videos the last 2 weeks and noticing I was that it depressed me and made me jealous. Don't stop posting stuff like that. That's where it hit me. And that jealousy, because I always analyze, why am I feeling this? I'm feeling this because I missed it. I miss it. It had been reawakened that little weekend in Milton-Keynes, and I enjoyed it that much. that I'm jealous of you guys seeing each other again, because you guys can see each other again. And yes, we're coming back to the UK in 2026, and we're going to try to set up something at York, and we'll have maybe another meet and greet. Maybe we can try to do something bigger. And that's why G.E.T.S was so amazing, and why Joyce and I haven't been able to truly let it go, but at least now it has been processed and we understand sort of the odd emotions we have connected with it. So this was my video. I know it's 6 weeks late, and so the excitement of G.E.T.S is faded for you all. Obviously, it hasn't faded for us. And Joyce will be posting a video as well. So until then, I'm going to say I'll be the same. Tschüss and happy trains. Take care, everybody, and thank you.